Oh, Henry. I'm actually talking about the candy bar. You ever had one? What's happening, film friends? Dave the Film Junkie here. Henry Cavill breaks his silence about, well, I guess you could say the Snyder Cut stuff. Yeah, he's doing promotion for The Witcher, which is interesting because I remember reading that, hey, there are not going to be any questions, only Witcher stuff, but the two videos we're going to go over right now, there's other stuff talking about. The first video is from Kevin McCarthy, who did a little press thing, and he just gets right to it right away, where, yeah, I mean, even like in his caption, he says, the first quote is, "I have not seen any Snyder Cut." And yeah, after all this came about, my timeline went like a little berserk, and it was just like, God damn it, people! Some of us try to warn you. The video I did like not too long ago when the men's health thing came out, and he talked about Superman, this, that, and this. I mentioned there, like, you know, Cavill is in a tough spot. He's in a tough spot. He's not in the same spot as Momoa and Godot and Affleck, okay? Affleck is out. He could say whatever the fuck he wants as long as NDAs are over with. Godot and Momoa, they have their movies locked, okay? Momoa, $1 billion. Godot probably is going to make $1 billion with their sequel. Who knows what's going to happen? They're locked in. Cavill is not. He wants a new Superman movie. And, well, he's the least devoted. Sorry. There were people out there that said that, and people didn't want to believe it, but sometimes you just gotta, hey, you gotta realize, actors, they're part of a business. And some actors are not just going to show like their devotion towards one person. I get it, guys. I get it that Snyder is the one that got him the Superman role. And I'm sure he'll be ever so grateful. But it's so funny when I see the diehard fans twist his words. I mean, I was seeing that. Twist his words. That's why we're going to go over some of this right now. So let's start off with this one from Mr. McCarthy. And let's start off right off the bat because he just cuts right to the chase.
That I'm such a fan of your work, and I think Man of Steel is an absolute masterpiece that I've seen 35 million times.
You and me both, man.
I think you are genuinely the greatest Superman to ever live, and
Just
I
suck
want
his
you to
dick
continue
already.
playing the character. I just wanted to know your thoughts real fast, if you had any. I know you're waiting for this question all day, but what are your thoughts on people being so vocal about the Snyder Cut, and is it something that you have seen, or would you want to see it?
I have not seen any Snyder Cut. I don't know if there's anything that exists that is a Snyder Cut. I'm sure there's footage out there which has probably been pieced together over the years.
It's only been 2 years.
I'm always interested to see how that stuff turns out, but that is very much a chapter in my past. I would rather talk about what is going to happen in the future, the future of Superman, how I can express that character from the comic books, which ties in nicely to Man of Steel. Man of Steel, I really like that movie, and I'd like to be able to tell the story where it was left at that point.
No BVS?
I can tell you nothing.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so awesome if that happens.
It would indeed be awesome.
His character.
Okay. So there you go. He expresses his love for Man of Steel. Like I even said in my previous video, because when he mentioned that the article with Men's Health, he mentioned that, you know, Batman vs Superman was more of a Batman tale, and, you know, it's cool to get dark with that. You could tell that Cavill maybe wasn't fully on board with BVS and wanted a genuine Superman sequel. Which I don't blame him. You know, when you get that role, you kind of want to like, hey, I want to explore this a little bit more. But, God, there's so many arguments. It's just pretty crazy, like the past couple days in my timeline, talking about people like, you're going to make Superman relevant again, and all these little awful hot takes that were on there. What's really funny about the debate of what Superman should be is like when you look at some of these people who go like, make him like this, make him like that, and we're all just like, that was Man of Steel or BVS! Because it was. Challenge him, this, that, and this. How would he be in this world? And that's exactly what Snyder did. But I think, okay, and then there's little like murmurs you hear and everything, like, oh, you want to do the Man of Tomorrow type story. And, you know, what we're going to talk about, we're going to go over a little bit more here, but yes, so when he talks about the Snyder Cut, and there was even another video too, well, we'll get to that, when he, you know, talking about the Snyder Cut, oh, I don't know if one exists. Yes, this is what he has to say. This is what he was told to say. Again, he's not going to just go out and fucking say it. So we're going to go to Jake Hamilton, and this, they already start off by him talking about Superman. So here we go.
People, good to see you again, sir.
Good to see you
So
too.
I would imagine taking on
These
a
guys
film
are so-
role similar to TV. With a film,
Sorry.
you've got 2 hours to get to know a character and flesh him out. With a series, you have multiple seasons and episodes. Thinking about all of your great cinematic roles, if you could pick one and get to know him over multiple episodes, multiple seasons, who's the one you'd be more interested in diving into?
That's a very good question.
Thank you, sir.
I think both Superman and Geralt of Rivia live on that same #1 spot.
Yes.
Mostly because I care about the characters so much anyway.
Of course.
I'm a fan of the characters, and I would want to get to know them even if I didn't do this job. And so the opportunity to play them, the opportunity to get to know them through performing them has been a pleasure. And I look forward to doing more of it.
If you had multiple seasons, or shall we say multiple movies of Superman, what is an aspect of him that you'd like to dive into that you haven't had the chance to yet?
Where we left off with Man of Steel
See?
in particular, which was
He talks about Man of
a
Steel.
guy who had found his place, or tried to find his place, but had sort of found it by the end, had committed something which he would consider a most horrific sin by killing the last member of his species. That is a place where I'd like to travel from with the character. Him exploring the positivity of who he is. Not necessarily the chocolate box version, but
Not the
but
chocolate
leaning
box.
into that character who actually becomes an icon of hope and enjoying that experience rather than necessarily being made uncomfortable by it.
You screaming no whenever you kill him, I think is one of the best Superman moments ever. I love that moment.
Thank you very much.
There's something really interesting with this character that I find fascinating, which is that he genuinely really does just want to do the right thing. But everywhere he goes, whether it's a new town or a new bar, people just kind of give him a hard time and they rag on him despite the fact that he has great intentions.
A new bar?
I'm curious if that's comparable to this sort of
one
world,
bar.
this culture of toxic fandom, where like if you make a movie, especially if you make a superhero movie, it does, like you have
So he talked about where he wanted to take the character, and again, he doesn't really mention BVS, and that's what we got to focus on there, folks. Like I think when it came to BVS and JL, he was like, "Cool, but can I get a genuine Superman sequel?" That's what he wants. That's exactly what he wants. That's what his team wants. He said he didn't want the chocolate box version, which means he doesn't want like to rescue kittens out of trees and blah blah blah. I think he just, I don't know. It's kind of hard to pinpoint. And like I totally get why people are like, "What the fuck, man, Snyder?" But when I saw people like, "Oh, he just straight out disrespected Snyder," I'm like, "The fuck planet do you live on?"
intentions, but there are always going to be a small yet vocal group of people there can kind of just be
Talk about toxic
I
fandom.
understand what you're saying.
I like what he
When it
says right
comes
here,
to
actually.
Fans,
It's interesting.
It is a fan's right to have whatever
It
opinion
is.
they want to have. And people are going to be upset because, especially when you're talking about books or games, because you're never going to be the exact person who they had in their head or who they played
Yes.
on Witcher 3, for example. I don't necessarily consider that toxic. I just consider that passionate. And it's something
Where have I
which
heard that before?
have obviously had to come to terms with over the years. And for me, with the comparison is not like that with Geralt walking into a bar. The comparison is more meta. It's more to do with xenophobia and sexism and colonialism and all those effects that has on people, and then who they divert their fear and energy towards, and that tends to be Geralt, because he's a guy who exists.
Okay, he's just gonna go on about Garrett and everything. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty interesting what I said about that, because I've heard that many times where, "Don't worry, he's not really a douche. He's just passionate." It's always pretty interesting to get that response, because I think it's part douche, but it's whatever. But basically, what I'm taking from this, I mean, like I said, I was seeing just people going, "Oh my god!" Some of these like diehard fans were like really going off, and to me, it's just like, okay, it's already been out there, it's already been said that Cavill, out of the main cast of Justice League, is going to be the least devoted to Snyder. Even though, yes, I get it. It all started with him, and Snyder cast him as Superman, and I'm sure he's very grateful. He speaks very highly of Man of Steel, big time. He's expressed it in both these videos, how much he likes that movie. It's hard to pinpoint where exactly Cavill is and where it's going to go. I know a lot of people are still worried, and there was that bullshit fucking, it pissed me off today because Joe Blow didn't do their fucking journalism, didn't do their due diligence. I stand that wrong, because there was a Men's Health article that said there was a new report that said that this one fuck I forgot his name. I can't remember off the top of my head. Who looks like a slightly younger Cavill is, he might be, he's rumored to play Superman. And all it was he said that he would gladly do it. We got this covered. Was like, yeah, we're going to write an article about this because we write everything. And then Men's Health did it. And then sadly, Joe Blow, who's been credible. And then they fucking wrote this. And then it spread to like comingsoon.net. And I'm like, God damn it, guys. That's not in the cards right now. No, it's not. But I would say if you're still wanting to be, if you haven't cast fucking Cavill out to the cornfield, if you haven't done that quite yet, and you still want him to be Superman, patience. Okay? Everything has been patience. I've been telling you guys, just patience, patience, patience. So that's all I have to really say about that. I'm still looking forward to seeing this guy in the fucking cape again. I honestly am. I know it's a little bit of a blow. It's being torn because stuff I'm hearing, and the whole Snyder Cut thing is just it's such a delicate thing, where like something could just kind of just mess it up, and what better than a Superman to just fucking knock something out of place to have it all crash down. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. And I'm just saying, don't lose any hype. Don't think this was like a blow or anything. I don't necessarily think that he like shit on the whole thing. He very much does want to look forward, and that's what it is. And I know it's hard to like gather myself, because at the same time I'm like, just show some remorse, Cavill. Come on. But at the same time I get it, and it's just. And from when I was hearing stuff about how much devotion he had to the whole thing, I was just kind of going, maybe it's just not going to happen. I don't know. But let's just be patient, guys. That's all I got to say. And thank you for watching. That's all I got to say. Hit that like, thumbs up button if you'd be so kind. Subscribe to my channel at filmjunkie.com for all my content. Follow me in the Sockments over there, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And then, of course, Patreon if you want to help out. And shirts down below, guys. All right?